Hey guys, before we get in this episode here, I want to talk about a few things that we got going on so you guys can understand what all is happening and why it is I'm so serious in driving it in this episode here, because we've had a few maintenance problems with the engine and stuff I've been trying to keep an eye on and make sure it doesn't get too out of hand on us. So let's dive into it. So when we first got the motor and stuff started up, a good friend of ours had warned me about a problem that we may run into. So TG, a good friend of ours, he was concerned that, you got to be careful about how much oil you put in the sump tank. And, the first few times you fire it up, you're kind of guesstimating figuring out how much oil these things need before you figure out what's the fine line there. And what I mean by that is all these motors and all these cars, they've got different lengths of oil lines and stuff like that on them, different size of sump tank and that sort of thing. And because you got to think, this thing's got a remote oil filter, it's got a remote oil tank, it's got a ton of -12 AN lines, a -16 return line. I mean, it's got some big hoses on this thing, and they're all full of oil. And so it takes a minute to figure out how many quarts it actually needs. And so I actually overfilled it, and I was warned of this. And what happens is if you put too much oil in them, it starts to puke oil out through the breather, okay? And so what that means is if you go up a hill, or if you go down a hill, or if you start it up and turn it off and start it back up again, and you're moving the car around, what it'll do is it will suck all the oil out of the motor, which is what the oil pump is supposed to do, and it will sling it back to the tank. And when it has that flash flood of fluid going back into the tank, it will actually overflow the system, okay? And it'll start puking it out, and oil's going everywhere, and it ain't pretty. It's a mess, okay? So we've been fighting that little issue right there of getting the oil level right. So I called up Peterson Fluid Systems, and with my particular tank, my tank is a two-piece tank. You'll actually unbolt and pull apart so you can inspect the inside of it and clean it all out, sort of thing, and clean the baffles out of it. But they were telling me right there where the tank splits apart is like that's where the fill line needs to be at, and you can go about an inch above that when the RPM is at about 3,000, 3,500 RPM. So what you do is you take the lid off of it, you crack the throttle open to about 3,000 RPM, of course, put it up on jack stands or whatever, and you're keeping an eye on that fluid level until it gets to where it needs to be. And of course, when I done that, mine was way, way over that. So we had way too much oil in the motor. So I had to drain it out, start it back up, do it again, drain it out, start back up, do it again. So we had to deal with a lot of issues there before we were ready to take Dad for a ride. And but that's why when you guys see this footage, I'm pretty serious and trying to pay attention to a lot of things, make sure this thing ain't gushing oil out of it. But anyways, guys, sit back, enjoy the episode. I think you guys will like this one a lot. And but anyways, we got a lot of maintenance things in this thing we're trying to fix and take care of, and it's just going to take us a little bit before we're really ready to crack open that throttle a whole lot more, which I know you guys are dying to see, and trust me, I'm dying to feel it. But we got to be patient, we got to take our time, and we got to be safe with it. So sit back and enjoy.
All right, boys and girls, it's time to dadgum light the fires and kick the tires. I can tell you that right now. We're going to fire this bad boy up, and I'm ready to hear this thing start hitting the lick. I tell y'all, being able to pull this thing out of the dadgum driveway and just feeling this thing kick down into gear here in just a second, man, when I grab a hold of this shifter and pull it down in the first gear, golly, that feeling is right there. Boom. It's hard to describe. You've got all this pressure of getting something built, and also, trying not to tear anything up, make sure you got everything done right, and finally pulling out of the garage and getting ready to take your dad for a ride and stuff down the road for the first time is one heck of a feeling. And I tell you, man, every time we pull this thing up a driveway, we got people coming by, breaking necks, waving, and people coming over, and neighbors coming out, and it's one heck of a deal. But yeah, guys, let's take old man for a ride, and let's have a good time. grab the throttle. And then that look, when you look over at your dad and you both kind of just have that head nod, smiles on your faces look, you don't even have to say nothing. You both just know. You know, it feels awesome, and I can't tell y'all enough of just how good it feels just to ride around with my dad and get to enjoy this beautiful day. And yeah, we went on a short cruise, but man, it just, we're still working on this thing, getting a lot of bugs worked out of it and stuff before we really get too crazy with it. And boy, I tell you what, man, it feels good. And look at that thing, man. And I got one heck of a cool shot right there. Up next here, I want to kind of give a shout out to Aerospace Components. I'm really working this shifter. I mean, I'm putting it through the ringer here. And, you know, the more and more I use this thing, it's extremely comfortable to shift. It only takes one hand to put it in reverse, which is really, really nice. Most Turbo 400s and most Paraglide shifters, some of the racing shifters, it takes both hands, or it's kind of complicated to get it to go in reverse. On racing transmissions, most of them's got a trans brake on it, and so you've got to push a button on the steering wheel or wherever it is you got it located at, so it will actually engage reverse. So you got to put the shifter in reverse, and then you got to push the button. So guys, I just wanted to, give you guys an in-car experience of what it's like to kind of ride this thing around, and also shifting gears here, how the shifter works and how smooth it operates and stuff. You guys got to see, in an episode of us actually installing this shifter before the car was even running yet. And anyways, just man, super excited here, feeling very good to get to ride around and get to take Dad for a ride in this old hot rod. I'll never forget the first time he took me for a ride in his Pro Street truck. And you guys will have to stay tuned, and I can't wait till you guys get to see his hot rod truck and my hot rod, and get to do some footage together. And I think it's going to be really cool and really fun. You guys stay tuned. We're going to have some cool episodes coming up very, very soon. And here for long, we actually got to go and get some alcohol too. So I'll take you guys for a ride along when we go to do that as well. So you guys stay tuned for the next episode on that stuff as well.
Yo, brother.
Yeah.
You got this hunk of junk going, man.
What the heck? Oh,
What?
man.
It's your mini-me, dude.
We got a mini-me now. Check that out. We got a mini Full Metal Goat now.
Yeah.
Now, this is a full-on slot car, ain't it?
Yeah, that's a full-on drag racing slot car. It's
Man, that is
best
awesome.
you can get, money can buy right now.
Jesse, man, that is killer, man. Thank
Guys,
you.
I've been racing them style slot cars. That's literally what got me into drag racing. I've been doing that since I was a little boy, literally 8 years old. And I've got about 16 of them myself. And Houston one day, he gave me a model a long time ago, and he's like, man, if you can ever get me one together, let me know. And I was like, all right. So he gave me a model. It took me a while. I got out of slot car racing because this burn thing.
I wouldn't put nobody to work, not never, and keep people up all night long and barely be able to get to work the next day. I would never do something like that.
Never. So I got back into it, and I still had that model he gave me. And when I got back into it, I said, I'm going to try to make a go at build that slot car for him. I horse traded around, got the chassis. It's a slip joint chassis, JDS wheels, Mid-America bead locks. And my buddy that's been racing with me for a long time, Bob Townsend, actually painted that thing. And he done a killer job on painting it. I mean, he couldn't ask for no better.
Now, he made the hood and the intake and all
Yeah,
that
it's
stuff,
all
too.
resin.
That's
And-
cool, man. Look, it's an awesome replica, man. Bob done a killer job, man. Jesse, man, thank you so much. I'd forgot about it. I
Yeah.
really did. It was one of those deals where I had, when Jesse was slot car racing and stuff, I was like, I'd love to have one that kind of went with my car. I was like, if you'll build the chassis and stuff, and because I didn't know nothing about them, and it
we got busy on other projects and stuff. But man, it's an awesome surprise, man. Thank you so much.
No problem, brother.
That's really cool.
Whenever you get time, you come racing with me.
That's right, man. Yes, man. Love you, man. Like a brother.
Love you too, brother.
Seriously, that's cool right
That's
there.
my somewhat thank you for helping me on Chevelle.
Hey, it works out good, doesn't it? But yeah, man. Well, guys and gals, thank y'all so much for watching this episode. We got to take Dad for a ride there in the car.
Yeah, man.
Today and this week, past couple of weeks, have really been a blessing and really cool. We've been extremely supported by a lot of people, haven't we?
Oh yeah, man, a lot of people.
A ton of people's been asking about the car, what all we're going to be doing with the car. Right now, we're still getting the thing better and better on the road and stuff. I'm waiting on a lot of parts to come in. We're still waiting on the Lexan to come in. I called them up, and I think we're like within a week wait now on the Lexan and stuff. But guys and gals, we're going to keep whittling away at it, get it ready for Street Car Takeover. Don't forget to go and buy yourself a t-shirt to be able to get in a chance of taking a ride in this bad boy. We got a lot of people entered in. We've got those shirts already shipped out to them, and we can't thank everyone enough who is buying shirts and get a chance to take a ride in this bad boy. That's it for now. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see y'all in the next one.
I tell you what, guys, I just wanted to end this off with this little video right here. This was not planned at all right here, but what had happened was we backed the car back in the garage and stuff. We're pretty much in our day out, and this gentleman across the street has kids over there playing at the playground, and a little boy had asked if he could see the car and stuff, and I fired it up for him and that sort of thing. But I just wanted to end this off with this. I thought it was really cool that these kids wanted to see the car, and they liked hearing this bad boy fire up and run. But anyways, guys, let's keep the gearhead thing going, and don't forget, when you see kids interested in stuff, we got to fire the car up for them, let them enjoy it. Till next time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Don't forget to go over to KillerMotorsports.com, where we've got all kinds of merch over there and all kinds of high performance products as well. And definitely a big shout out to our sponsors and partners. Till next time, you guys have a good one.